Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you come from. And we're hoping you're staying cool. If you're coming from Europe or other regions where it's super hot right now. Olga Makarova, I'm a marketing manager here at COFES, and I'll be moderating this today's session. Before we begin, I'd like to let you know that you can enable live subtitles and translation in any of the available 29 languages by clicking subtitles option at the bottom of your screen. Today we'll be talking about portfolio management in Urba 360, our new way to monitor our counterparties with more visibility and structure. And in the next 45 minutes, we'll show you how to build portfolios in Urba, how to segment them based on what matters to you, and how to use them to focus attention where it's needed most for your company. I'm joined here by two speakers, Christian Molinaro, our head of delivery, and René De Charo, our product manager. And together they will walk you through the topic. And a few quick housekeeping notes. The presentation itself will be around 30 minutes, and the last 15 minutes we dedicate to questions and answer session. So if you have any questions throughout the webinar, please feel free to drop them in the chat or in the questions tab, and we will answer them live, as many as we can. Before we get started, I would like to launch a quick poll. We'd like to make this session a bit interactive, so you participate as well, and to have a better understanding of how you manage your portfolio. So you will see it on your screen just now. We appreciate your participation, so please let us know how you currently manage your portfolios. We'll give you a couple of minutes to answer. Please submit your votes. I can see for now there is a mix of tools for most of our participants. Well, this is actually what we expected, and this is the reason we're launching this session for you. Okay, we see that half of our participants are doing the mix of tools. And well, with that, Christian, I give the floor to you.
Thanks, Olga, and welcome again to everyone. So now, before starting with portfolio management, we will have a quick overview of how COFES is managing business information and how we deal with data. And so we can go to who is COFES. COFES is a global leader in trade credit insurance, and of course in business information. We are a big company with footprints all around the world. So we have people and team everywhere, and we have as trade credit insurance a specificity. So the fact that we have a turnover all around the world, as you can see, of more or less 2 billion of turnover around the world in trade credit insurance, business information, and all the other business line. And one of our peculiarity is the fact that as business information provider, we need to deal with the fact that we manage exposure all around the world. So as you can see, we deal with 700 billion in trade credit insurance of exposure. So this is a fact that forces us to have the best information model to provide assessment. So it's a fact completely different from other business information providers, and it forces us to do a lot of steps in the direction to have the best model all around the world. So, and it's something that differentiates a lot our offer compared to other business information provider. As I said, we are a global team and we have local expertise in each country. So when we do an assessment on the company, we could benefit of this expertise. So we have a team that every day has interaction with company, interaction with counterparties that needs to have access to data. So it allows to bring to our data and to our model very high level data that allows us to bring more modelistic information in our data. Of course, we are a partner that work with trusted partnership all around the world. So you can see some of the companies that are already working with us in these years, and we are able to have a strong relationship with each of them. So our peculiarity in a nutshell is to have a company that is all around the world. So every time one of our customers need an information on a company in each part of the world, we are capable to have data and to have people on the ground that are able to collect information and data. And due to the fact that we need to manage exposure all around the world, we need to have the best data, at least for our egoistic way to manage data, to avoid claims and avoid extension in our TCI policy. So it forces us to be every time at the very top. How we build business information. As you see, these are the sources behind our platform, Urba 360s, and starting from the nutshell of this view, you see that we are able in each country. So this is a model that we have everywhere. We are able to collect the basic foundation information in all the countries with relationship what we have on the field. So we start our evaluation from local trust data, algorithms, gazettas, fresh investigation, so data that are available on the market. But of course, it's not sufficient, because in this environment where the companies and the data change every day, and it's very fast to have changes on the company, these are data that are super important, of course, because our data available on the market, but they are not sufficient. So we need to put as adjustment on this information our internal expertise as trade credit insurance. So it allows us to go deeper in the evaluation and to have an accuracy compared to the other competitors higher, based on the fact that we are able to have a specific data. Some elements that we put in our score is, for example, the evaluation of our underwriter, because they are on daily basis on the market and they are able to collect information. We have company visits, because every time there is the possibility to have a visit with a counterparty, we are able to collect precious information. And one of the most relevant from my point of view is the global payment late payment index, so the global payment experience that we are able to collect on the market, because as you can imagine, as trade credit insurance in our policy, we are able every day to collect on our exposure claims from our customer extension. So this is a very specific information where COFASI is, of course, unique, because we are the only one that collect this kind of information on our portfolio, and it helps us to do as adjustment. So as you see in our model, we have the basic foundational information, so automatic scoring, and we do adjustment with our peculiarity. These give us, from our point of view, the best accuracy on the market, and it allows us to be different. So our story also is completely different compared to the other business information provider. When we think about Urba 360s, the idea is to bring all this information in a platform. So a platform where you can see immediately which is the situation of each of your counterparties. And Urba is an ecosystem where you can see the situation of one of your company, of your suppliers, for example, competitor, whatever you want, and you have 6 different information based on this counterparty. So, for example, the score, so our score with a scale from 0 to 10, so from high risk to low risk, where you can see the status of a company. Our credit opinion, so which is our willing to risk with these specific counterparties. As COFAS, as I mentioned before, we are in more than 200 countries, so we need to take into consideration the country as a factor of risk, the sector also, because the same company in different country could be different, and the same sector in different country could have a completely level of risk. So we need to take in consideration, and we have a economic researches department that every day take a look to these 2 specific points. Late payment index, as I mentioned, collecting data on our TCI department, we are able to see if a company, for example, with good score, with good financial, with good information, has a bad experience in payment with COFACE, it's something that we can intercept immediately and we can put as adjustment in our evaluation. And last but not least, the financial, where the financial information are available, we are able to collect this information and to bring in our view. So as you see, Urba is a way to make it visible all our insights and our data. Now we go to the topic of the day, that is a portfolio, because of course, as you can imagine, if you are, and it will be a part of the next poll, how you manage also data and information in your counterparties. Managing portfolio is coming more and more crucial in the daily activity of a credit manager, but it's also very complex to do it because the information, as you can imagine, are in different environment, multiple systems. So make all the information communicate, it's very complex. Sometimes the information comes not exactly at the moment where we need to take a decision. So some risk signal are discovered too late. So when we need to react, sometimes it's too late. So taking the right decision at the right moment, it's more and more complex. And not always we have a clear overview on the exposure that we have in our counterparty. So it brings a lot of complexity and uncertainties in the management of the portfolio. So now René will show us how we are managing all these common frustration with our new solution of portfolio management. But before, I would like to make a short poll with you to have a bit of interaction and see if you are using today our platform Urba 360. So please give us your feedback. So you can see, you can say as if you are using for a while now, if you are a new customer and you're just starting, or not yet, and it's something that probably you want to take in consideration in the future. So I give you a couple of seconds to give us a feedback. Okay, so I'm seeing now the results. Okay. So I'm seeing that yes, for a while now, it's winning. Very good. So now with René, we will see how to empower also the usage. We have a couple of you that not yet, and we want to convince you to start, and someone else that is starting now, just starting. Okay, thanks to everyone. I think that we can close, and I give the floor to René for the next part.
Yes, thank you, Christian. So a warm welcome from Breda in the Netherlands. That's where I'm based. And I'm here to show you the tool that Christian was talking about, Urba. So as some of you haven't seen Urba yet, I'm going to give you a quick glance at Urba, what it actually is that Christian was talking about, all the information that we gather. It comes all together in this platform, Urba. And this is where you can find a company. You can look it up in our databases and you can order the product, and then you will be getting all the information from Urba. So we are in test environment, so that we're not sharing the actual information about companies, but this gives you an idea of what you're going to get with Urba. So we give the raw data where the company is located. We give information on shareholders, actually the things that Christian mentioned, our score with the history as well. The probability of default is also in there. We give you country risk assessment on 160 countries. We have the score in 195 countries, same for the credit opinion. We give you financial ratios, how this company is doing compared to other companies that we have in our database with the same turnover, same country, same sector. When you deep dive, we give you some more insight in this company, and we also give you financials that you are able to export or download in an Excel file. So this is a really, really quick look on Urba. This is where you get the information, and once you order the company, this company will end up in your dashboard. And this is what I want to show you, because this is where we've been working on improving the dashboard. We have been listening to our clients to improve the options for you to manage your portfolio, to keep track on the risk, because you are at risk on not only on your debtor side, but you can also be at risk on your supplier side. Do you know your suppliers? Or are they always able to deliver you the goods that you need to produce your stuff? So this is how we made our dashboard. So all the companies that you order, they end up in your dashboard. And you have monitored companies, and you could have non-monitored companies. When the companies are in your dashboard list, the first thing that we designed now is a dashboard analysis. So all the companies that are in your dashboard that are monitored, and I will express that a couple of more times, because monitoring the company is actually one of the best things you can do in Urba. This is the story that Christian also told. We are close at the risk. We are in this world where everything is changing really rapidly. You need to be updated, and therefore we always recommend you to monitor the companies in Urba. And when the company is monitored, it will be taken into account in your dashboard analysis. And the companies that are being monitored, they are also the ones that you can put in your portfolios. So when you order your Urba, it is actually automatically switched on with monitoring. But in case you have some unmonitored companies, you can always go into the company and switch on the monitoring, which makes it available for putting it into your portfolio. So, and for your dashboard analysis. So in this case, you see an example of the analysis on this one. We have 132 companies that are being monitored. You can set a domestic market, you can set you can see the international market, and you can see a total overview of your whole portfolio. We also have a map of the world where you can immediately get an insight of where your risk is located. So you can click on the countries, and you will be taken to the companies that you have in that country with all the relevant data. So you have the score, you have information about the payment, you have the credit opinion, and you have the sector. You can easily switch back and forth between the selections that you make on the front end. So now I showed you on the country. I can also check out the companies. You can see we have these colors that you might be familiar with already. These companies are all fairly good, but this is where the risk might be. So you want to be really interested in those companies, keeping track of them. With one click, you can actually go to these companies and open them and do a deep dive on these companies. You can also order the report for this company. So in the report, you will get the regular report that you are probably familiar with all the financials, information on shareholders, management, company construction, and everything. Just the financial report. So all the information is there, and you can easily maneuver back and forth. So this is the first improvement that we made for you, for the clients, for our clients, prospects that might be interested in this, because it gives you a really clear view on where your risk might be. And when you have your risk inside, then we created the next step. So from now on, well, not from now on, but it's going to be in June. That's when we will roll it out. The dashboard will be rolled out to all our clients standardly, and the portfolio creation, it will be only rolled out for the ones that really request it. So you can contact your account management, your sales manager, and say that you're interested, and then we can set it up for you. So how does this all start? So I have my dashboard. This is where all my companies are. And then when I go to create my portfolio, I can easily make a selection on the companies that I am interested in. And you have several use cases for portfolios. I'm sure you can think of some of yours for yourself as well. But, the easy one, the split is in country. So, maybe you have specific divisions in each country, and the users that are in that country are only interested in the companies that are in that country. So I could create a portfolio saying the Netherlands, or Dutch companies. I can set my my domestic country. Then I create the portfolio. Oh, sorry, I already have one. I'm not so. So let's make it two. So now I created my portfolio. So the name is there, the description is there. Now is the time that I can add some companies to the portfolio. And I can do this with the help of some filters that we also newly created. And you can do it by country, which is an interesting one. So I'll take this one for now. I have the Netherlands. So I select it. And this will bring up all the companies that are in the Netherlands. I can select them all, and I can say I add them to my portfolio. So now I have my portfolio. I created it. I gave it a name and a description. I put the companies in the portfolio that are of interest for that portfolio. And now is the next step that I can assign users that should have access to this portfolio. So maybe not all users are interested in the Dutch companies. So I can leave those out. I can say only, okay, this person I grant access to the portfolio, and I give this person access to the portfolio, which means that they have access to all the companies that are in the portfolio. The other people, they will not see that portfolio that was created, only when they have administrator rights. So now I set it up and I go to my portfolio and I have all my companies that I just selected in my portfolio. You can see that I'm in my Netherlands 2 portfolio with all the companies. And this is where you can see all the portfolios that you have created. We can also set it up that only the administrators have the right to create a portfolio so that you don't get a wild grow of all sorts of portfolios. The administrator is also the person that is able to easily give a other person administrator rights. If they really need to create portfolios as well, they can go into the user management, they can select somebody and they can just change the profile so that when I switch this profile to administrator, from then on, this user will also be able to create a portfolio. And talking about the use cases now, I just set up the most easy one, I think, just by country. But what is also really interesting is to set up a portfolio by scores, risk management. So you can decide to create a portfolio or to add companies to a portfolio with a certain risk. So I have my filter again. I can say, okay, I want my scores and I want the other ones. So these are the ones where I have a score of 1 and 2, and I can edit the portfolio. I can add some companies to it, and then I get back to all the companies that are monitored again. So my dashboard is the one place where I start. This is where I will have all my companies, and then I can start to play with them. I can have the companies that I have in my dashboard, I can put them in multiple portfolios. So, and when you are working in portfolios, when you are adding companies or when you are deleting companies, you still leave the dashboard untouched. So when you remove a company or a portfolio, a company from your portfolio, it will still remain in your dashboard and you can use it in another portfolio again. So you can have the same company in multiple portfolios. In this case, I wanted to select the companies that are at risk. So maybe I can say I want my 1, 2, 3. I apply, so all these companies, some of them are already in. So I'm going to select them all and I'm going to add them to my portfolio. I get a double check. Do you really want to add them? Yes. So now I have a portfolio where I have maybe the high risk companies. So I can easily track those companies where there is a high risk. So that might be a second use case. Another thing that we have where you could be thinking about is the sector. If you're really interested in companies in a specific sector, you could create a portfolio based on your sector and you can combine it with your risk, because with the filters that we are giving you, you are able to combine filters. So you can say, I want in that country, I want to have multiple countries or only these 2 countries. And I'm specifically interested in the companies that have a risk of 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you can create those portfolios and you can play with it a lot. And whenever you've created a portfolio that you no longer want, you can easily go in and you can delete the portfolio. So what I'm trying to show you is that we have a lot of options where you can play with the dashboard, with the companies that you have in your dashboard to create portfolios, to dedicate them to specific users. And because we are working with specific users, we're working with specific portfolios, um, you also have an option to set the email preferences. So I think all of us are getting a lot of emails, and you don't need to be, or you don't want to be notified by all changes that happen in your Urba portfolio, because that's what we do in the dashboard. Whenever there's a change, maybe you remember the 6 tiles that I briefly showed you. If there is a change on either one of these tiles, so the score, the credit opinion, financials, late payment index, sector risk, or the country risk assessment, you will be notified by us. You will get a notification saying that something changed in your portfolio. And in the notification, you can also see when it's a score, if the score changed. So if you don't want to receive so many emails from companies that you are not interested in, you can go to the email preference settings and you can say, okay, no, I don't want my readiness. Readiness means that when you order an Urba, sometimes we don't have all the information right away, but it comes in the next day or the next 2 days afterwards. You get a notification that your order is ready. If you don't want it, you switch it off. You can also say, okay, I don't want any notifications. I just rely on the notifications I'll be seeing in my app, in my dashboard. But you can also say, I only want notifications, email notifications on the portfolio with the suppliers. And when you have it, you can save it. And from now on, your email will be limited to only the portfolios that are of interest to you. So this is also giving you new tools to manage your risk, to manage the risk that you are really interested in, not be flooded by emails that are not of your interest and therefore maybe missing the important ones. So this is also going to give you some extra tools to work with, to manage your risk, to manage your portfolios. And as you can see, we also make it really visible where the changes were. We have the notifications, we revamped them. They are much clearer now. And also when you make a selection, too long, and test. So logging in again, when I select my companies notified, I get my 23 companies on which there is a notification. I can go to the company, I can click on the notification, and I can see in this case there is a new financial, and we display the notification here on top. So we see that there is a change in the financial information. In this one, the Italian company, we show you that also information. I had another one. Actually, a lot of. So this is what I wanted to show you. We'll also show you the score that it got downgraded, so you know what happened. You also see that the probability of default changed, and also the credit opinion changed. So all these notifications, they will stay there. You can mark them as red. And when there are new notifications, it will just pile up on the notifications that you already received. And this is also the notification that you might receive in your email when you switched it on. Otherwise, you will always be able to track your notifications back to here. So these are the tools that we created for you. Especially, I think the portfolios are really interesting. The filters are interesting to give you the tools to create the portfolios that you like. You can experiment with them. There is no limit to the number of portfolios that you can create. So let me check if I told you everything that I had on my list, because don't have much time, so I try to do it as quickly as possible. I've been working with Coface for a long time. I've seen a lot of things with risk related, and I think this is giving you a really good tool to manage the risk the way you like to manage it. So, and as I also said in the beginning, we listen to our clients. And this is the first iteration of the dashboard that we are now giving to you. And once we give something to the clients, they always come up with new ideas or things they would like to have. And this is where we are always open for discussion. So when you see this, we encourage you to give us new ideas because we are listening and we are developing to bring you the best tool on the market to manage your risk. So that's our mission, and I know this is a step forward already in managing your risk. So yeah, I hope you like it. If you like it, get in touch with your account manager to get the full functionalities on the portfolios, your sales manager, or if you are not using Urba yet, you can get in contact with us to set up a meeting to show you Urba in deep and tell you more about the things that we discussed today. So I think there's one more poll left. Is there? Yeah. Yes, there we are. So let's see, what is your biggest challenge when monitoring a large portfolio? Because you could have so many companies in it, like thousands sometimes, and then it's getting hard to keep track. One thing we also have, maybe I can mention it again, you can export your portfolios, you can export the dashboard. Everything will be exported to Excel so that you can work it, you can implement it in your tools, you can upload it, whatever. So we're trying to think of all the functionalities that you will be needing to run a proper credit management. So I skipped it and I managed it within the time. So let's see. Yeah, we have some key takeaways also that we can discuss. I mentioned them also a bit already, but it's good to repeat so that you know where you can. I probably think that after watching this, you might already have some ideas where this could be useful for you. But here are some other tips. Like I said, you can group companies by country, sector, risk level, internal ownership as well. You could have some users that are only interested in a couple of companies that they need to monitor. So you can create a portfolio with those companies, add those users to that portfolio, and they can easily manage only the companies that they are interested in. So prioritize where attention is needed. Like I said, the high risk companies, when they're at a 3, they should be really clearly visible for you. I think at 3 or 2 or 1, those are the companies where in the credit insurance, we are really careful with giving any credit. So I think you should be as well, and you should be able to have them inside and also get all the information from Urba so that you can make a proper credit decision based on that. So make monitoring actionable. This is what I showed you. You are able to set it up. You get all the notifications that you like, and you can use them internally to, again, set out your credit management. I think the presentation will be sent to you afterwards. Olga, am I right?
Yes, that's correct. We will be
I
sharing the
get it back to you.
presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Renee. Thank you, Christian, for this walkthrough. Now it's the time for our Q&A session. So we already have a couple of questions in the questions tab and in the chat. Please feel free to drop them to us. We'll answer them live right now. And in the meantime, I just wanted to let you know that you can download this presentation and we will be following up with you also with the recording. So you can always watch it or pass it also to your colleagues who couldn't attend. And with that, let's get started with the questions and answers. I think we have a couple of them already. So we have a question from Sven in the questions tab. How often are you updating the data in rating of the companies?
Okay, I go Renee, or I take.
No.
I take it. Okay, so often you updating the data and rating of the companies. We have daily update on the company. So based on the source, we are able to collect every day when there is a change in the data of the company. We are able to collect this data and provide this data in all our platform, Urba and all the others. So on daily basis. I see the other question. Is possible to integrate interfaces to our own system? And I think it will reply also to The other question that we get from Jun Kim, yes, because we have API module integration of data. So if we want to integrate all this data, so score, credit opinion, late payment index, all the information you see, we are able easily to integrate. And normally we use an API integration model that could be fit in every CRM, ERP that we could have. For the other one, I see Serena, if I'm an Urba customer already, do I get access to portfolio creation or do I need to get in touch with my account manager? As Rene said, the idea is to roll out this new feature in the next weeks, so you will get an official confirmation about it. So very soon, all the customers will be able to get access to it. And you will have a specific trainer from your account manager or sales manager based on the local structure. Yeah. Go ahead, Rene. I let you the other question.
I saw a question also from Yun Kim regarding CRM, existing integrations with CRM systems. So we already have a SEP solution, so we can integrate the data from Urba. It can be delivered via API into a SEP environment. We are working on the MS Dynamics, Microsoft Dynamics. We are pretty far with that, so this will also be rolled out this year. So yes, we can do it, especially for SAP. And then I saw Nicola Yelito. We have the platform is available in several languages, so you can set it in German, and then all the information will be in German. You can set it in Italian, Chinese. We have, let me check on the language. So let me quickly share my screen again with you so I can show it to you. So you have the option to go into your profile as a user, and this is where you can select the languages that we have available on Urba. So when you set it for that user, they will log in and they will see it in German. If somebody else has it in Chinese, he will see the same information, but then in Chinese. So this is a yes for you. Serena again. Is bulk upload available for portfolio management? So what we can do, and I'll stop sharing. I already stopped sharing. So what we can do for bulk uploads is we can upload them already. So we put all your companies in the dashboard, and then we can help you specifying them in portfolios once they have been created. Also for existing clients, there will be ways to facilitate getting all the companies that you already have in your dashboard in the portfolios where you need them. So we can help you with that, and especially with uploads and organizing the companies in portfolios. Okay, the one for you on China, Christian.
Okay, yes. I have this question. We have some small to medium-sized customer in mainland China, and we want to put them into our monitoring list. How can COFAS BI team acquire information in China, given the lack of information transparency? Does COFAS have BI team in China or have any cooperation with Chinese agency? As in China, as in the other part of the world, as I show in the previous slides, what we do, we try to collect all the official data that are available on the market, and of course, based on the local legislation, law, of course, we could have some issues in collect all the data that are available on the market. But the fact is, if the data are available on the market, we are able to collect. So the first layer of our information we deal with this kind of data. On top of it, where is possible, we are able to collect data directly from the market, and based on the country, we have some possibility to do it. But yes, in China, we are able to collect some additional information based also on the company. As you can imagine, where there are companies where data are more available on the market, there are other companies very small, where it's very hard to everyone to get access to this data. So it's something where we need to deal with. But of course, we can do in this case what we call a POC. So we can have a check on the existing portfolio that you have, check with some example what we have in our database, and see together if our solution could fit your needs. Where you have these, when we have these specific needs, it's something that normally we do to be sure that we provide something aligned to your expectation.
Yeah. And maybe to add, Christian, remember we have like 50,000 credit insured clients that do business with a lot of companies in China as well. So we also get information from our clients back whenever there's payment delayment or something. This is also extra information that we're receiving, because if you have 50,000 clients, they're doing business with a lot of companies worldwide. So they are actually all in the next line that we get information from, so it's giving us a lot of information that we put in our system that you can benefit from in the score, in the credit opinion. So that's how we also try to manage as much as possible local teams visiting companies. So that's what we do.
Yes, and we have this other question from Sandra. They say, I have Urba, but I don't have the dashboard option. I need to update my Urba with the contact person in my country. No, I mean, it's something that we will roll out very soon in the next weeks. So you don't need to do nothing, but you will get a confirmation, a communication, and with your account manager, when it's done, you could have all the information that you need. So it's normal that it's not still available, because we are finalizing the last test to be sure that we roll out in production the best version possible.
Yeah. And then I see Alexa Sales. Is there a way to share a portfolio view with colleagues who don't use the platform? That is a no. You really need to be a user on the platform to benefit from the portfolio, to benefit from Urba at all, actually. So you really need to be connected to Urba. So I hope we got your interest in Urba. Is it possible to integrate interfaces to our own system? Yeah, we have a lot. I think that's did we already? We have a lot of options.
Yeah, we covered that one.
Yeah.
Yes,
right.
we cover with API normally. Yeah. Yes, so it's done.
Okay, I believe this is it. We still have a couple of minutes, but I think we covered all the questions that came to us from our attendees. So we can wrap it up. And I wanted to thank everyone for joining our today's session. And of course, our speakers, Renee and Christian, for giving such a detailed walkthrough. We hope you found it useful. And if you have any questions about portfolio management, you can contact us on cofastbusinessinformation.com. There's a contact us button, and we will get your message. We will follow up with you after the webinar with the webinar recording and the presentation, and we'll hope to see you in our next sessions. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Yep. Ciao.